Today, one of the hottest topics being discussed in the political world is illegal immigration reform. Americans were shocked after the tragedy of September 11, 2001, to learn of the 19 hijackers. Most of them carried driver's licenses from various states. After September 11th, we as a country found out how bad we need reform when it comes to the security of our nation. One of these security risks is the issuing of driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. Because of the ease for illegal immigrants to obtain driver's licenses, they are able to rent apartments, open up bank accounts, rent cars and trucks, and even board planes. This has sent many states into passing laws that make it harder for illegals to obtain driver's licenses. Right now, all states but Utah, Washington, and New Mexico have passed such laws. During this speech, I will go over a few problems that have happened in Utah, Washington, and New Mexico because they allow illegals to obtain driver's licenses, and then I will go over a major pro and a counter con of issuing driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. I would like to cover just a couple of these fraud cases that are out there of people trying to exploit the rules. The article, Illegal Immigrants Draw to 3 States for Driver's Licenses, goes over the following problems that have come up because these states are not strict with their immigration policy. One of these problems is an Illinois man was accused of driving 2 Polish immigrants from Chicago to Albuquerque in July of 2010. His scheme was to charge them $1,000 each for helping them out and guaranteed 100% success, according to the criminal complaint that was filed in court. In Washington, the FBI was tipped that people from across the country were coming to the state because of its licenses law. 3 people, one being a former state licensing department employee, were arrested in June of 2010 for an involvement in this case, dealing with the sale of identification documents to illegal immigrants. A 2005 audit in Utah uncovered that 62 people were issued driver's licenses within a year, all claiming to live in the same apartment in Salt Lake City. I hope that these few examples of the way people have exploited the rules, you can see why we need federal guidelines for issuing driver's licenses. Now I would like to cover a major pro people are talking about, and then the counter con going with the issuing of driver's licenses. Of all the articles, blogs, and quotes I read about the issuing of driver's license to illegals, they all have the same pro on why we should issue driver's licenses. From the Mexican American League Defense and Education Fund to our former Cardinal and Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, they are all saying that if states and federal governments issue driver's licenses to illegal aliens, the roads would be safer. There would be less uninsured motorists on the streets, and therefore there would be a reduction in the cost of insurance, and it would create a safer driving environment. They also claim that by getting driver's licenses, that all people that get them know the rules of the road and will become better drivers. To counter that, the Federation of American Immigration Reform published an article on October of 2005 on their website titled Driver's Licenses Security. They offer the following counter to what was said earlier on the pro side. They said the argument about road safety relies on a faulty assumption that if illegal aliens are legally licensed to drive, they will all have accident insurance. But even if states require automobile insurance as a condition of getting a license, that does not keep illegal aliens from canceling the policy the next day. Illegal aliens generally are working low-wage jobs and have difficulty affording insurance, and then their cars are frequently older and more accident prone. They also went on to say that illegal aliens often are not able to read road alerts in English, and in many of the countries from which the illegal aliens come, it is standard practice for motorists involved in accidents to flee the scene. The combination of these factors adds up to the probability that if more illegal aliens were encouraged to drive by issuing them driver's licenses, it would lead to more accidents caused by uninsured motorists, and many would be a hit and run. So how do we know what would really happen? We don't. So for the best interest of the United States, we need reform. I have just given you a little insight on the big controversy of issuing driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. I went over some of the problems that Utah, New Mexico, and Washington face for issuing driver's licenses, and then I went over a major pro and the countering con of issuing driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. Hopefully, after all that I covered, you see that the fix is obvious. For the protection of our country, we need to stop issuing driver's licenses to illegal immigrants and put some federal guidelines and laws in place to avoid the exploitation of American safety.